Fun of Play Sports, everybody. I'm your host, Pete Lubar, and today we're going to talk Big 12 football, specifically the Arizona State Sun Devils. Spring is done, and the team is fairly well set, and just going to talk about that today, who they added in the offseason, what their outlook is for next year. So here we go. ASU had a great season last year. They finished first in the Big 12. After being picked for last, they were a bad referee from beating Texas in the Chick-fil-A Bowl and moving on to play Ohio State in the semifinals of the national championship. So by any measure, last year was a successful year for Coach Kenny Dillingham, who's in his second year. So heading into 2025, the Sun Devils are widely believed to be one of the best four teams in the Big 12. Alongside with K-State, Iowa State, and BYU. College football analyst Joe Klatt has them ranked 15th in the nation. Unfortunately, they lost Cam Scatterbo, who was drafted in the mid-rounds by the New York Giants. Cam, his senior season, finished with 293 carries for 1,711 yards and 21 touchdowns. He also caught 45 receptions for 605 yards and 3 touchdowns and finished 5th in the Heisman race. So they've got to replace a lot of productivity for sure. They do return 16 starters, including quarterback Sam Levitt and receiver Jordan Tyson. So 2 good pieces coming back, but most of the team is back this year. They averaged 33.1 points per game last year. Levitt threw for 2,885 yards and hit on 216 of 350 attempts for 61.7% accuracy, which is really good. He had 24 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, also really good. And he's a dual threat guy. He ran for 443 yards and 5 TDs. And is considered one of the best returning quarterbacks in the nation. So Sam coming back, had a great year. Tyson had 75 catches for 1,001 yards and 10 TDs. And he averaged over 14 yards per catch. And he's considered one of the top 5 receivers in college football. So you've got some offense right off the bat for the team. They lost 17 players to the transfer portal, brought in 12 new ones, including running back Kanye Udo, who was at Army last year. He racked up 1,117 yards and 10 touchdowns as a sophomore, and averaging 6.2 yards per carry. And they also brought in Jalen Moss from Fresno State, who had 48 receptions for 563 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he was also among the nation's leaders in kickoff and punt returns, so it looks to beef up Arizona State's special teams. Arizona State signed 23 players in their class, freshmen. The Sun Devils' recruiting class was ranked between 48th and 50th by different groups, On3, Rivals, 24/7 Sports. And they brought in a 4-star quarterback from La Cueva, New Mexico, a kid named Cam Dyer, and they brought in a kid named Grayson Rigdon, who is considered a top 20 running back out of Texas. And so those are 2 really nice additions for the offense. It bodes well for sequential years. On defense, they brought in 4-star linebacker Isaiah Isefa from Hawaii. So pretty good. The defense at ASU last year was stout. They gave up an average of 22 points per game and 284 yards per game, both really good numbers. Only 95 yards rushing a game, so really good. The top tacklers all return, led by defensive back Michael Rouser with 98 tackles, and defensive back Xavier Alford had 85 tackles. So should be another good group. From a schedule standpoint, they start with Northern Arizona, then play Mississippi State, and then play Texas State. And then they play their Big 12 schedule, of which 7 of their 9 opponents played in bowl games last year. However, they do avoid playing both K-State and BYU. So I mentioned that the top 4 teams were Iowa State, K-State, BYU, and Arizona State, and they don't have to play 2 of them. So that's a huge advantage for them. I think they're going to be very stout on defense. I think they're going to be better than average on offense. So I'm predicting a 7-2 conference record, 10-2 overall, and near the top of the Big 12. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube page. It costs you nothing to subscribe, and it helps me out. Thanks, everyone, and hope you have a great day. Bye.